back again with even better lighting this time that won't keep dropping in and out. So hopefully you can all see me, hopefully you can hear me. If you're there, can you do a like or a heart or something so that I know you're there and you can hear me, just so that I know it's all working, and then I'll get the ring sling and we'll get cracking. Oh, Vicky said hi. Hi, Vicky. Hello. Oh, thank you. There's the thumbs. Brilliant. Okay, cool. So we'll get started then. So this evening, I'm going to be spending this half an hour talking to you about ring slings, how to thread one, how to pop a newborn into a front carry, and then I'll show you 3 different feeding positions which all work for breast or bottle. Then I'll show you how to get baby back in an upright position, and then how to roll up your ring sling, because I never got around to doing that video that I promised I'd do last time. Sorry, things have been a bit busy. And then we'll just have a general Q&A at the end for you all to ask any questions that you might have, or anything like that. So I shall grab my ring sling and we'll get started. So ring slings are called ring slings because they are slings that have 2 rings on the end. Okay, they're attached at one end, and then you have a long piece of fabric that you then use to wrap around yourself and you tuck your baby in. Okay, I'm using this rainbow one because then it's nice and easy for you to see what I'm doing with which side, and it's a lot easier to teach with as well. So everyone has a dominant hip that they carry a child on. You know, obviously you won't carry your newborn on your hip, but if you've ever been around a toddler or something, you always pick them up and straight away they'll go on your hip. Typically this is the hand opposite to the one you write with. I'm the wrong way around, I'm right-handed. I prefer to carry my child on my hip. This is important for ring slings because they're a one shoulder carry, so you want your rings to go on the opposite shoulder to the hip you carry your child on. So I carry on my right hip, so I want my rings to go on my left shoulder. Okay, so I start off by flinging the whole thing behind me, and I make sure my outer hem is cupping my shoulder. Okay, I then come round and I take my inside hem, pull it flat over my back, nice and tight. I then gather this up in my hand like so, then I curl it round my body up to my rings where I pull it straight through. From here I double check that my top hem is on the inside of my ring sling tail. Okay, I then double check that my lower hem is on the outside of my tail. There it is, it's a bit folded. Okay, once we've got that, we take the whole thing and we go through just our bottom ring. Okay, just that one, leaving a loop at the top. Okay, then we pop our thumb inside, and those of you who I've shown how to do ring slings will get this. This is called I call it the fancy hotel napkin trick. Before I learned this trick, I absolutely hated ring slings with a passion. So you hook your thumb inside like that, and you start off with your inside hem, and you spread the fabric over your thumb like that to get rid of all the twists and turns, and it leaves you with what looks like a fancy hotel napkin. Now what happens quite often when you're starting out with ring slings is that your rings will slip down, they'll end up somewhere like that in the middle. Okay, so you don't lose all your good work. Take the ring sling from the side and pull at the back like so to bring it up onto your shoulder. Okay, so we are there nice and fluffy and ready to go. Now when we come to tighten up our ring sling, we need to first of all get rid of the risk of gravity before we put our baby in. Okay, with a buckle carrier we do this by buckling the waistband around us. With a ring sling we do this by tightening up this bottom rail. So we reach around behind us as far as we can and we pull that nice and tight. Bring it round, flat over our back, up to our rings. I pull my outside hem straight down. You see that tighten up? It glides through like butter because we did the fancy hotel napkin. That's what it's about. That's the game changer. So once we're there, we double check our rings. Mine have slipped down slightly, so I'm just going to move those back up a bit. And then I get the top of my sling and I make sure there's enough room for my baby to go in there, which there is. So once we're there, I'll get baby. And baby goes up on your non-ring shoulder, okay? So this is a newborn weighted doll. She's about 7 pounds. And before we put baby in the ring sling, we make sure baby is nice and settled and comfortable on our shoulder, okay? So she's up there nice and high. We keep one hand under the bum. We come up underneath the ring sling, okay? We catch both the feet and we gently guide baby down our chest towards our middle, straightening baby up, hooking the ring sling into the knees. Okay, if baby's still very new and curled up, don't overspread the legs. Okay, keep baby nice and tightly curled up, like so. So you can see the ring sling is in the knees, baby is central on my chest, okay, ear is level with my heart and they're close enough to kiss. Now that baby's in the correct position, I'm ready to bring the carrier up over baby's back. Okay, so I find my top hem and I run my thumb round it so I know that the fabric isn't twisted up. If it's twisted up and I pull this up, baby could fall out the bottom, okay? Then I pull that up a little bit over the back, hand comes outside, and now my hand can act like a brake. Again, if I accidentally pull too quickly or baby wriggles, my hand is here to prevent baby falling. For a newborn, we come up to the top of the head, okay? Top of the head, and then we let go. This is so that we don't over tighten around the neck and shoulders, preventing that lovely curled spine, okay? We pull the slack round from the back, all the way over baby's back, like so, towards our rings. We take the inside hem on our tail and we pull that towards baby's face, okay? Hand under baby's bum, give a very gentle lift, and then we just take in sections the fabric and pull the rest of it through the rings. And that's it. That's how you thread a ring sling. Okay? For older children, it's exactly the same. For a hip carry, it's exactly the same. You just literally move your child onto your hip. But I won't be showing that with a newborn, obviously. So safety checks, close enough to kiss. Clear airway, okay, turn the right way so you can see, there we go, clear airway. Hands are up near baby's face. We've got a lovely curved spine. We are supported knee to knee, though this knee keeps popping out. It's easier with a real baby because they have better knee joints than dolls. There we go. Knee to knee, I am hands free and I am comfortable. Okay, so feeding. The easiest way to feed in a ring sling is to do an upright feed, which for older children is absolutely fantastic, but most newborns aren't ready for upright feeding yet, but it's a good place to start off. So, hand comes under the bum, we take the top ring, which is the one that we can completely see, okay, and we just lift that up ever so slightly, like so, just to loosen baby off. Then we let baby come down nice and gently, moving them round until they are at the breast, okay? And then they're there, ready to feed. Obviously, if you've got a bottle, upright feeding isn't necessarily needed. So, when we're feeding children in slings, we need to make sure that they are still supported knee to knee with their adjusted position. We need to ensure the carrier never goes over the back of their head, okay? Baby needs to be able to breathe and break away from the breast or the bottle at will, so we never cover their back of their head with their carrier. We always make sure that hands are either side of the breast, okay? We always make sure that hands are either side of the bottle, okay? To help baby get control, to help them manage the flow themselves. So that's an upright feed. For cradle feed, again, we loosen it off slightly as I just did. This time our hand is going inside the carrier, under the bum. Okay, so you can see my hand there is under the bum inside the carrier. I'm going to take this outside leg, okay, I'm just going to gently move it round so that I've popped the seat and my baby can now lie down in cradle position, ready to feed. Okay, I've just brought that arm up so that baby is either side of the breast. Baby can feed. We're not covering the back of the head, and we are still supported knee to knee. Baby's kind of seated side saddle, like ladies used to do on horses. Okay, so we can feed like that. If there is a weirdo nearby making you uncomfortable, then what you can do with the tail is just flip it over your shoulder like that to give yourself a bit more privacy, but you can still clearly see what baby is doing. Okay, if you're bottle feeding, you can absolutely still use this position. Obviously baby's head won't be turned towards your breast, but you'll have a bottle and you can hold it there ready for baby, and baby can hold the bottle as they are feeding. Okay, so you can walk around and get done what you need to get done. So that's position number one, that's cradle feed. Okay, rugby ball, which a lot of newborns really like because it's a bit easier for them to get hold of the breast, is return baby to upright like so. So for rugby ball, this time our hand comes in behind, under the bum, we take the other leg and we pop the seat that way towards our back instead. Okay, so again, we're side saddle. Okay, we're in the knee pits, nice and clearly. We're still nice and tight around those knee pits. Hands are either side of the breast again. Okay, we're not covering the back of baby's head. Always make sure we have a hand supporting the head because they're newborns, they still can't hold their heads up. We don't want them flopping their heads everywhere. But it means baby can feed like this and you can get on and do what you need to do. Okay, it's excellent to have a hand free, especially if you've got an older child. Unfortunately, if you have a bottle, in this position, it is a bit harder because you do have to have two hands because you need one hand to hold the bottle. If you're very clever, you might be able to wedge it under your chin, but obviously that is personal choice. So that is how we can feed the baby in cradle position. If you have twins, then it is absolutely possible to use 2 ring slings and have 1 twin on each breast feeding like this, because you can see my rings have moved to the middle now. So that's what would happen if you had twins, 1 in each ring sling on each breast. Okay, and you can totally tandem feed like that. Right, so cross chest feed, because obviously we've all been focusing on one breast so far, and as we all know, both of them need to be fed from. So to move to the other breast, we get baby into rugby ball position, we support the head, we support the bum and the top of the legs, and we lean right forward so that baby comes away from our body. We can then swing the whole thing round to the other breast, and then baby is still there in position, ready to feed on our other breast. Okay, can you see that? There we go. And again, with bottle, we just simply add in a bottle to help baby feed. Okay, so that's how we do the cross chest feed as well. Now, like all babies, they do love to fall asleep after they've had a feed. Please try to avoid your baby falling asleep in this position, okay? You'll need to support the head throughout the whole of their nap, which means you haven't got both hands free. Plus, there's a greater risk of the airway closing with that chin to chest because they're in a seated sideways position. When they're feeding, it's okay because they are active and you are paying attention more to what they're doing. So, to get them back to a safe upright position so they can go back to sleep, we pop our hand inside the carrier, under the bum, and we simply bring them back up to central, spread their legs ever so slightly, making sure we're still close enough to kiss and that ear is level with our heart. Once we're happy with position baby is in, we keep that hand under the bum and we tighten up our ring sling because we loosened it to get baby into the right position. Okay, there we go. So, very quickly, a couple of more options you can do with the tail. For newborns, it's really nice if they're a bit sleepy to twist the tail up like this, and then we bring it to the neck and we tuck that in like so. Okay, can help to give baby a bit of extra head support. They don't need it because they're supported knee to knee and they've got their curved spine, so their head will naturally flop onto your chest. But if you're out and about or you've got to chase after a toddler, then that can be really, really useful just to give that bit of extra stability. Okay. Another option you can do with the tail is just to simply bring it under the bum, okay, and then it tucks up really nicely into this hollow up here, okay, and then it's in and it's out the way. Doesn't do anything structurally, but it keeps it neat and tidy. If the weather decides to change, as it always does in this country, we can bring it over like so, and that now counts as 2 layers of clothing. And if you're lucky, you can bring it back again, and then that is now 3 layers of clothing that we've just added onto our baby. Okay, so it's really good for layering up like that. This particular ring sling is made out of muslin, and this was brilliant for me and Dexter over summer because I could drape this over him to give him some shade as well, some protection to the shade. Obviously he was wearing a hat and everything, but it's keeping that clear airway. We never drape anything over their heads. And that is a ring sling. So to safely get baby out, hand comes under the bum, and we take this top ring again and we lift it up. We don't need to go all the way, just a little bit. We bring the sling down off baby's back and we simply lift baby out, and we can pop baby down somewhere safe. Now the beauty of a ring sling is that we don't have to do it from scratch every time either. This is especially useful for toddlers in their up and down phases. Okay, so what we do to get it ready for the child to go straight back in is we pull our fabric up here and we create our fancy hotel napkin again. Okay, passing the fabric between our fingers like so. Then we come underneath, bringing our slack round again for the bottom rail, and we pull that straight through on the outside tail. And now we're ready for baby to go straight back in. It's that hard. So that is everything for the demo. So now I'll show you how to roll up a ring sling to keep it neat and tidy. And then after that we'll do questions. So if you do have some questions already, please feel free to type them now into the comments, and then I can answer them as soon as we get through to the Q&A bit. It could be about anything to do with baby wearing. It doesn't have to be ring slings, doesn't have to be feeding, just any questions you might have. So to roll up a ring sling, we start off obviously with our rings and we fold the sling in half. Okay, there we go, making sure our rings are ever so slightly longer than our tails. Am I tall enough? Just there we go, so you can see. So what you do now is you fold this into 3s. You can do this on the floor as well, but with the amount of ring slings I have to do, I find it easier to do them all standing up. So I folded that into 3 now. Okay, so we are now in 3 sections that are all folded up. What we do now is we just simply roll it up, making sure to keep those vertical folds in, like so, until we get to our rings. Once we're at our rings, we simply tuck it over each end, like that. Okay, and then we're all tucked in nice and neat, and it's all out the way, and it's easy to grab hold of and find our rings as well. So that was how to do a ring sling. I'll move to the sofa now, ready to do questions, and we'll see if anyone has anything they'd like me to talk about as you journey with me through the house. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about baby wearing or anything? Emily, my ring sling keeps riding up and digging into my neck. What am I doing wrong? When you're threading your ring sling, when you're first putting it on, are you making sure that the outside fabric is cupping your shoulder? Because it should be spread over your whole shoulder, not just on the top of your shoulder, finishing at your bra. So that's the first thing to check. If it's hooked over your shoulder and it's tight enough, it shouldn't pop up and dig into your neck. So hopefully we'll have a response from Emily on that one. I've just realised I was meant to bring the little chair over with me because otherwise it's all too low down. I was having to hold it. There we go. That's better. Much better. Okay, cool. So that is actually one of the most common problems that people have with ring slings, is they find that they dig into their neck, and it's purely because they haven't spread it over their shoulder before they've put it on. Let me grab my other ring sling. So what I mean by that, Emily, is when you first throw it over your shoulder, over there, then we make sure we pull that outside bit down, and then it tightens up over our back. Okay, we don't want it like this. Yeah, I think I spread it at the beginning. It's usually a few minutes into carrying. In that case, you might not be spreading it enough. What I find sometimes is that if I put a coat on over the top, then the whole thing will ping up as well. There's not much you can do about avoiding that with a coat. But if it's happening, even though you're not wearing a coat, then it might be worth pulling more fabric down and having more on the outside to make it even more secure on your shoulder. It may be that you haven't got it quite tight enough, which is why it's able to ping back up. Obviously it's hard to diagnose over the internet. If you can make it down to a drop-in, then do pop down. I'll try my best to help you in person, but definitely try that first. So any other questions that anyone has? Another thing I love about ring slings is that obviously you can do your front carry, and you can do the hip carry, meaning baby can look forwards and backwards. If you really want to, you can do outward facing in a ring sling, but honestly, a hip carry is much, much better in nearly every situation. So it is much better to get them in the hip carry than outward facing. You can also wear them on your back. This is quite an advanced technique, an advanced carry, so I'd only recommend people that are very competent with ring slings attempt it, but I'm more than happy to teach you. Obviously I can't teach you a drop-in, but we can do it in a one-to-one. That's not a problem at all. I am always wearing a coat or rucksack, so I guess that's it. Oh yeah, and the rucksack, that'll ping it off your shoulder as well. That's just part and parcel of the ring slings, I'm afraid. I've got a baby wearing bag which I use across my body, so it doesn't actually interfere with my ring sling when I'm wearing it. Or I carry just a normal handbag when I'm wearing a ring sling to avoid that happening, because it always happened to me as well. So that just made things a lot easier for me. But yeah, that is a common complaint with ring slings. Anything else that anyone has any questions about for baby wearing or feeding? You can feed in all the carriers I have in the library, both breast and bottle. I don't have carriers in the library that you can't feed in. Oh, Vicky, what carriers do you recommend for hotter climates, planning a holiday and not sure which to use? The vast majority of carriers will all be suitable for hotter climates. It's just a case of you dressing yourself and baby in clothes that are appropriate for the climate, okay? There are carriers which have been designed with hotter climates in mind. So Connector and Integra both have their solar weave fabrics that they use, which wick water away very quickly, they dry very quickly, and they're between 95 and 99% UVA, UVB protective. So a lot of people going to Australia and New Zealand really like those. You can also get, although they've just packed up business, you could get some muslin ring slings from Rapamore, but I believe Kalen Blue are bringing some out instead. And you also have, you can also get linen and gauze wraps, like woven wraps, but you can use those instead. But I mean, even your normal connector, your normal carriers, they're all 100% cotton anyway, so they're all still really breathable. You can get air mesh versions of some carriers, so the Je Porte Mon Bébé Physio carrier, that has a mesh version that you can pull down. The Beko Cool has a mesh panel that you can use for breathing. The Moby Aria and Comfort, they both do as well. The Beko 8 does. The Ergo 360 and Ergo Omni 360, they've both got mesh versions. The Ismi has a mesh version as well. So yeah, there are lots and lots of options. It depends on what you mainly use. If you mainly use a buckled carrier, then it would be worth your while to hire a buckled carrier, which will be cooler. If you're more used to wovens or ring slings, it might be worth getting a woven or a ring sling made of a thinner fabric, so that is a lot cooler. But it's very much just evolving on from what you normally use, because there's a reason you normally use that type of carrier and not another type of carrier, so it makes sense to stick with the one that you're most familiar with, really. Oh, Kelly's on. I wore Rosalie in the Ergo all afternoon today and even fed her in it. Yay! Well done, Kelly, that's brilliant. She came to the drop-in this morning to get some fitting help with her Ergo baby, and we got her little one in it, and that is brilliant that you managed to feed her in it this afternoon as well. That's awesome. So we're nearly at time. If there's any more questions, I'll just give you another couple of minutes. If anyone's on bump watch, we're at 21 weeks tomorrow, and here she is. So there's the, oh, there's my trousers. So there is the bump, that is her, she's there. She's been kicking quite a lot throughout all of this, so obviously she's enjoying the demo. Cool, so we've had no more questions come through. If you're watching this on catch up, or you are, there's a question here, you're just trying to desperately type it out, please do comment on the post. I will see it and I will reply to it, that's not a problem. This will be available for you to watch back again. Any other questions, get in touch. We've got loads of ring slings. They're all really, really pretty. They're all on the website under our ring slings tab, so you can have a look at that. I've got all the videos of everything I've shown you tonight. They're all on YouTube in bite-sized chunks. So please do subscribe to our channel. As soon as I get 100 subscribers, I can rename the channel to something that's actually easy for you to type into a search bar rather than just random letters and numbers. So please, 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 please subscribe to me on YouTube, and enjoy feeding your babies and your carriers, however that is that you do so. And thank you all very, very much for watching. I'll see you soon.